Ado is Japan's biggest pop star, and even with her Hibana World Tour, she's done a lot of activities this year. Keeping up with everything Ado related can be pretty time consuming for longtime fans, and downright overwhelming for new listeners. So today, I'll be starting a series going over all of Ado's activities. I'll analyze all of her new songs, go through her recent collabs, and highlight all of the other cool things that fans would want to know. There's been some crazy things that have happened over the last few months, so stick around for the whole video. After a busy end to 2024, Ado kicked off the new year with ELF at the end of January. This is her third collaboration with producer Tenioha, and needless to say, these two don't miss when working together. ELF is a melancholic ballad that was used as a theme song for a TBS Friday drama. It's a crime suspense story that has some tie-ins to the song's lyrics and music video. The highlight is definitely the music video, because there's a lot of cool lore to unpack. ELF is centered around two characters, this little girl named Marie, and this peacock creature called Chochujin. The literal translation means bird beast person, but I'm going to refer to it as elf. It reminds me of the Zonai from Tears of the Kingdom, and its eyes look distinctly shaped like Hachan. The peacock does have some significance within Japanese mythology, but I don't know how exactly that ties in here with my limited understanding from reading a few articles. The video opens with Marie running while holding a biwa. It's a Japanese instrument traditionally used in narrative storytelling, and I also presume there's some deeper meaning for why it's shown. While running, she eventually stumbles and discovers this hidden area. Marie finds a feather, and as she looks up, Elf appears behind these bars. She gets scared and runs off with the feather. Marie keeps the feather in her room, but as time passes, she feels overwhelmed with sadness and hides it away. Elf is able to watch over Marie through the feather, that is until it was put in a drawer. More time goes by, and eventually Elf emerges from that hidden place where they were imprisoned. This is where Marie approaches them in tears, holding the feather that they had taken decades earlier. Elf gently pats Marie on the head, a tender, almost maternal gesture. The frame then shifts to the image of Marie's younger self, when she first picked up the feather. The video ends with Elf being escorted away into the light, making for quite a bittersweet ending. I interpret Elf to be a song about grief, with Elf representing a lost loved one, and the feather being a metaphor of how they keep connected to those who've passed. When Marie hid the feather, it symbolized pushing away the sadness that comes with grief, but also the memories of that person. The lyrics are written in second person, which point towards them being said from the perspective of Elf. When I saw Elf pat Marie on the head, the image of Freyren and Himmel immediately crossed my mind. In both Elf and the Freyren anime, elves are lonely beings who live for a very long time. There's that same lack of emotion from their surface level appearance, but eventually we see that they both care sincerely about the other, but it takes years to reach that point. Now what about the drama that Elf is based on? Its story follows Komogi Yamashita, whose father is murdered on Christmas Eve. A man named Tomoya is arrested, believed to be a suspect, but Komogi finds a letter from her father proving Tomoya's innocence. Now, I haven't watched the show, but both the letter and the feather are symbolic objects from the past that guide each character towards closure. In February, Ado's Instagram announced an upcoming mystery collab, and many thought this was going to be with another artist. I had the slightest hope for an Eve collab, but we were just baited. Ado is appointed as the brand ambassador for Georgia, a brand of coffee drinks sold by Coca-Cola. The commercial itself is very standard. It features Ado as the narrator alongside Minami Hamabe, who was the host of Kohaku Utaka-sen back when Ado appeared in 2023. She basically just runs around a town that's bombarded by Ado media, which isn't too distant from what some parts of Japan look like at times. Bouquet for me sounds like your more generic promotional song, but it's still fun and falls among Ado's brighter songs. The lyrics reflect how both good and bad experiences shape who we are today, while also encouraging us to celebrate even the smallest of victories. The animation in the music video is great, especially the color palette they used, but there's not too much to take beyond its surface value. The one clip of the girl facing herself while holding the bouquet is just a means to express self-encouragement. This girl doesn't have a specific name, and she low-key reminds me of Sylphiette from Moshuko Tensei. Ado has worked with over 40 different producers to date, and John Yakitori is arguably the one who's had the biggest impact on her. Back in March of 2021, she featured on the song Shikabanese. It went viral on TikTok and became one of her early breakthroughs as an artist. Recently, when asked about who she wanted to work with next, it came as no surprise that Ado chose John Yakitori. ROCKSTAR marks their 8th time working together. While it was used in a commercial for a Japanese trading company, the song itself wasn't specifically written with the promo in mind. It's actually Ado's first live-action commercial, so I guess we can say it's her unofficial acting debut. It depicts Ado performing ROCKSTAR during a live performance. There's an unexpected power outage that leaves all the instruments and equipment useless. Instead of pausing and waiting for the power to return, Ado begins to do the song's stomp and clap melody. As the crowd follows her lead, she pulls out a microphone and starts singing. The commercial's uplifting message neatly ties into ROCKSTAR's lyrics, which provide encouragement to anyone still chasing their dreams. You may think the lyrics were loosely written about Ado, but that's not the case. The music video follows this boy who dreams of becoming a rock star, and he shows us the struggles of pretty much every artist starting out. The boy passes away before making his dream become reality, but he's given a one-night chance to return as a zombie and become a rock star. The video opens at his grave. It's struck by lightning and he returns to the flesh. We're then taken 69 days into the past, and no, that number isn't just a joke. In Japanese, the word rock sounds like the numbers 6 and 9 combined, so it makes for a pretty good pun. It then shows 47 days. I'm not sure what the significance of this number is, so let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. Again, we skip ahead, this time to 27 days, which is a really clever reference. Many famous artists have tragically passed away at the age of 27, often referred to as the 27 Club. The boy plays at a gravestone at this point, which signifies his death. There's also this motif of butterflies in both the music video and lyrics. In Japanese culture, butterflies can be seen as a symbol of transformation and the souls of the deceased. It fits in with the boy's progression through the video, as well as his different appearances. The video ends with him returning to his grave. The shift in weather from the opening mirrors his arc in the story, from dying with regret to leaving the world having become a rock star. In terms of the actual song, someone in my Discord perfectly described it for me, that it sounds like a J-rock take on an American hard rock song. Ado is experimenting with more Western style music, and if her goal is to win a Grammy, she definitely needs to keep doing this. This year marks the 5th anniversary of Ado's major debut with Osewa. Billboard Japan held an interview with Ado where she discussed her future goals and growth over the past 5 years. Ado said that her way of thinking has significantly changed, and that she can look at herself more objectively. Her biggest dream is still to win a Grammy, and another being to do a world tour that's even bigger than Hibana. Hibana means spark in Japanese, and she fittingly hopes that it will be a small flame that sparks a bigger fire. I guess we'll be getting a third world tour in 2027. To celebrate the milestone of her 5th anniversary, Ado and her team have already rolled out 2 major things. The first being a new artist photo, which was a huge surprise for fans. It was unveiled on January 10th, which commemorates the 8th anniversary since Ado posted her first cover on Nico Nico. Ado's past photo was the first thing that came to mind for most fans when they thought of her, so the change will definitely take some time getting used to. That said, it's really grown on me over the past few months. I still think the older one is a more suitable profile photo, but the new one is a better reflection of her current identity and growth as an artist. It gives off the vibe that Ado the person has finally accepted herself and will fully embrace her role as Ado the artist. From the growl expression to the tear marks in the background, the new photo is bolder and more unapologetic. Besides Ado, I also think it's an equal indicator of how Orihara's art style has evolved over time. For context, the two met in 2019 after Ado liked some of the fan art they made. Since 2020, Orihara has been Ado's official image director, and they also create the costumes that Ado wears for her concerts. There's also another reason why this new design is an upgrade. Ado's avatar Chando has changed a lot over the years. Her recent designs have strayed so far from the old image that they barely look like the same character. The new photo better reflects Chando's image, and there won't be any more confusion that all these designs are the same character. For any fans of girls band Cry, this recent artwork of Nina gives off the same vibe as Ado's new photo. The second big thing that came in April was Ado releasing her first ever Greatest Hits album. While the name is silly like much of her other merch, it pays homage to the wordplay she did when starting out on Nico Nico. It was marketed with the slogan, "All hits, no misses." Despite there being 40 songs across the 2 CDs, the Adobum comes in different versions, with one notably including footage from Ado's first live concert at Zepp Diver City called Kigeki. The new additions here were the songs that I went over earlier, as well as an unreleased full version of Hello Signals. If you've never heard it, Hello Signals was an advertisement song from 2023 for students getting their own phone. The album topped the Oricon Albums chart and even peaked at number 9 on Billboard's World Albums chart. If you think 5 years is a bit premature for a best hits album, just remember that Japan is the largest physical music market in the world. With her upcoming Hibana tour, now is the perfect time to release this for anyone wanting to catch up on Ado's music. I think the main appeal here isn't the actual music, but rather the goods that are included in the releases. I stopped buying Ado merch after a single CD to save my wallet, but otherwise I'd have bought the Adobum just for the keychain. Besides the 3 songs I've gone over so far, Ado has also done a number of other songs and covers. We'll start with the upcoming 3 songs that will be used in various anime. None of these have been officially released at the time of recording, so I'll formally go over them in a future video. We start off with Stay Gold, which is the 3rd ending theme for Beyblade X. This is the 4th generation of Beyblade, and they're trying to promote it as less of a game now and more of a culture. Ado is paired with Jack Jones here, and all I have to say is that he redeemed himself after that god-awful show remix. Even outside of Ado, the music lineup for the show is pretty cracked. The 2nd track is the opening for Gegege no Kitaro. It's a long-running series about a one-eyed boy who protects the world from various yokai, which is a term for spirits in Japanese folklore. The anime first aired in the 60s, and it's seemingly become a tradition that every decade will get an adaptation of Kitaro. Each version has the same opening song, but sung by a different person. One thing to note is that they aren't adapting the show per se, but rather doing a curated rebroadcast of various episodes from the past 6 adaptations. The episodes that are chosen to air will be picked by the previous voice actors of Kitaro, and Ado will also be one of the selectors. It's a pretty big deal for her given how she grew up with the show. Around the same time Ado was in her Disney princess phase, she was also a huge fan of the series. It's cool to think that she's getting paid now to cover a song that she used to sing along to as a child. The 3rd and final upcoming song is Cat's Eye. It was the opening theme for the 1983 anime of the same name, and city pop fans will know this track from Henri's album Timely. Now that the anime is getting an adaptation this year, Ado is brought in to cover the opening. Henri and Ado are my 2 favorite Japanese artists, so I'm pretty excited for this. The song snippet from the teaser video has a more mysterious and sexy feel compared to the original. Besides these songs, Ado has officially put out 3 other songs this year, with all of them being covers. The first is a collaboration with Tatsuya Kitani and Balloon. Keina Suda is a Vocaloid producer who goes by the name Balloon. In April, he released a concept album that featured 6 songs, 5 of which are reimagined versions of some of his past releases. They're covered by artists that he deeply respects, and there are some pretty big names outside of Ado, such as Natori and Ryoru. I definitely recommend checking out the whole project. On the eve of Ado's first Hibana concert, she released a cover of the song Hibana. It's a Vocaloid song from 2017 that has over 75 million views. Despite being very busy this year, it's nice to see Ado make time for her Utaite activities. Jukai is Ado's latest release, and one that I've been looking forward to since it was announced. 2025 marks the 43rd anniversary of Akina Nakamori's debut. If you don't know her, she's arguably Japan's greatest idol of all time, and one of the most recognizable women from 80s J-pop. Meikyo is a tribute album that sees Ado and a bunch of other artists cover some of Nakamori's most iconic songs. The other upcoming release that we know of is Matroshka. This song was originally produced by Hachi in 2010, and it'll be a special collab between Ado and the singer Rib for his upcoming album. Rib is a very prominent Utaite who rose to popularity in the early 2010s, so the cycle of Ado working with people she grew up listening to continues here. That covers everything Ado has done herself, but there are also some other Ado-related music things worth going over. In 2024, Ado debuted her idol group Phantom Shita, and they've been on a steady rise ever since. This year they held their first world tour, and recently they made their major debut with Universal Music. I'm sure you also remember Ado Rosa. If you don't, she's basically a character created in collaboration with Ado and Sanrio, the company that makes Hello Kitty. Ado Rosa recently had her voice revealed and released her first song on her 3rd birthday. Lastly, we got a music video for Ado's cover of Aishite Cubed. This was originally released on her Utatamita album, and it's since become her most iconic cover. I'll be going over it in a future video, but needless to say, the visuals fit in perfectly. Ado released 9 songs on streaming platforms last year, and even with Hibana, we're already at 6 editions this year. She's become quite the commercial figure, and it seems like every 2 weeks, her management is making some new announcement. Although Hibana started in April, Ado still did a number of concerts in the months leading up, ranging from TV performances to the Osaka Expo. I wanted to go over the one that made the most headlines, given how significant it was for both Ado and J-pop as a whole. Matsuri 25 was a Japanese music experience held in Los Angeles by the Japanese Culture and Entertainment Industry Promotion Association. It brought together 3 of Japan's biggest contemporary artists with YOASOBI, Atarashi Gakko, and Ado. The goal of this one-night event was to promote long-term growth and global expansion for the Japanese music industry by building a stronger connection between Japanese artists and American audiences. YOASOBI opened, then came the 4-member girl group AG, and lastly, Ado closed off the event in her signature box. It was held at Peacock Theatre to a sellout crowd of 7,000, which seems like a big success, although some would disagree. Notably Takuya Chigira. He's the head and founder of the artist management company Cloud9, meaning that he's Ado's manager and label lead. Chigira tweeted that he was very disappointed with the venue size and that he wants to see events aimed at locals instead of Japanese people. This tweet got a lot of attention, and he had to respond saying that he wasn't criticizing the organizers, but expressing his desire for more ambition in the future. I don't know what the organizers were smoking, but I think anyone with a brain and computer could confidently say that the event would have sold out at double the capacity. Ado sold out this venue last year during her Wish Tour, and she'll be returning to LA again this year, this time at the Crypto.com Arena, which can hold around 20,000 people. YOASOBI and Atarashi Gakko have both sold out venues in the US. While the sizes of those venues are smaller, bringing all 3 together makes it more appealing for a larger demographic of J-pop fans. Regardless, it'll be interesting to see if Japan pushes more J-pop initiatives like this in the US over the next few years. Besides Ado's music, her team has been pretty busy with organizing partnerships and other initiatives to grow her brand. Ado passed 8 million YouTube subscribers this year, and she's currently the 6th most streamed Japanese artist on Spotify. So let's go over 3 of her biggest media partnerships. To start, Ado's music is going to space. I'd never expect to come across an article that tags both Ado and Elon Musk together, but this is actually happening. She was the first artist chosen for this project called Bandwagon 2. So basically, a SpaceX rocket has already delivered Ado's recordings to a satellite in low Earth orbit. If this mission goes successful, Ado would be the first person in history to have their voice broadcasted from the moon. Baseball is the biggest sport in Japan, and the MLB is certainly aware of this. Last year, the LA Dodgers held a Hollow Late Night collab that featured 3 of their top VTubers. Well, 2 of them now. It got a lot of attention, and I think this led to the MLB's recent campaign titled Heroes of the Game. It's a video that features players from each team as anime characters, with Shohei Ohtani obviously taking the spotlight. Ado's song Show is featured in the video, truly putting the show in showtime. Lastly, Ado did her second partnership with McDonald's. They did a collab in 2023 that remixed Dodo, and I'm sad to say that annoying beeping sound from the McDonald's fryer machines have returned for this one. McDonald's Japan has faced criticisms over this one commercial, and ever since they decided to region lock their commercials. Anyways, the new collab features Ado alongside YOASOBI and Hoshimachi Suise. The song played is a mashup of Racing Into the Night, Yoru no Piero, and Bibiriba. The production is Racing Into the Night for the entirety, and the vocals shift between the 3 songs. The mix is very fun and enjoyable, despite the awkward transitions between vocals. The last thing I want to bring up is Baby No Money. If you've never heard of him, he's a Canadian rapper who's become really popular online with what some describe as meme marketing. He's someone that can truly relate to chronically online people like myself. Recently, someone made a TikTok asking him to check out Ado. Baby No Money actually did, and he seems to like her music. If Ado can do a song with Imagine Dragons, this is certainly plausible, so I hope it actually happens. And that goes over all the big Ado related things from January to April. Ado recently started a global newsletter, so she pretty much beat me to making this recap series. If you'd like me to continue this series, please leave a like and subscribe for more Ado and J-pop content. If you'd like to support the channel and help cover editing costs, I've got YouTube memberships now with exclusive perks. Otherwise, thanks for watching.